Thank you guys for being here this evening. It is your host, the SMT, and with me tonight, I have Mr. Aloha Android, Mr. Pixel himself, Tito from Aloha Android. Thank you for being here tonight, man.
I appreciate you for having me on here, man.
Yeah, it's been a while. We've been trying to coordinate this, and Tito did have the opportunity to kind of jump in on one of the podcasts. There was one recently that I don't know. It seemed like we had the Brady Bunch up in here. It was like 10 squares up on the board, and it was just a lot going on. So I wanted to bring him on a more like a more personal level where me and him kind of discuss some topics that we both feel very strongly about. I think some of the things we'll talk about tonight: Fitbit, got that purchase with Google, RCS chat. We'll talk a little bit about the Pixel 4 and some hardware. And if things can spill over a little bit, we might get to some carrier stuff, who we've tried, who we're using, why we have left certain carriers and why we currently use certain ones. And, of course, the potential to get into the actual 5Gs from the recent news that we're getting out of Sprint and T-Mobile especially. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about TV and streaming services. Maybe some creator stuff could spill over. I'm pretty new to the game. I've only been around a couple of years. So, you've seen the tides change and you've seen things shift and move around a bit. So your insight on that type of topic would probably be very interesting. So again, thanks for being here, man. And I hope you really enjoy being on. And we do have a great community here in the SMT, the Sneedlings, as they like to be called.
Yeah, man. I think you have like probably one of the best I've seen so far.
Yeah,
everyone's
a solid group of people, man.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. I'll tell you that much. It's awesome.
Tom, good to have you on. And what I usually like to do, Tito, is I like to take roll call, man. You've been in there before.
Yep. Do your thing, man.
Tom, good to have you on. Yeah. Rafi's in the house. Rafi's got the big wrench. You guys got to be careful out there. He carries it around. He knows how to swing it. Just watch yourselves out there. Jess, good to have you on. Tonight we'll be talking about Fitbit and Google, that purchase, RCS, Pixel 4, some visible and other wireless stuff. We'll cover everything. John, good to have you on as well. Jamaal, good to have you on. I got a handful of mods in here. Mod squad in the house.
Yeah, Pete asked where his link is.
Oh, where is it? Hold on, Pete. I got you, Pete. Where's my Google Hangouts? Me and Pete are like, I think actually you, myself, and Pete are the last three of the Mohicans that are actually still using Google Hangouts.
Yeah, I still use it. I love it because it just simplifies everything for me. So even if like on my phone that has visible service, I actually have Hangouts as like my main dialer because it uses my Google Fi number. So it's like one number, two devices, messages, everything just comes in one spot. It just makes everything easier.
I've always been a big fan. I thought there were a couple things that could have been tweaked to make it better, but I thought it was solid. So I just think it needed some adjustment. It needed some renovation, a facelift of sorts, and then it would have been fine. It just needed some evolution. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can see that they kind of like laxed on developing it because like there's just so much weird news about Hangouts. It goes from my dogs are barking, but it goes from like they want to move everything over to Hangouts chat, which is currently only available for G Suite members. And then I'm like hearing news about that. I'm like, why? Why move it to that? Just keep classic Hangouts and build upon it.
Yeah, I think it just needed a little bit of adjusting, a little bit of work. And, just like with any app, there's that revamp, that facelift. We saw it with Twitter. They changed their character limits. We saw it with Instagram. We saw it with Facebook. They all kind of go through it. Nothing can stay the same or else you get left behind.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, big shout out to Assad's Bakery in the CLE. Best place to get shawarma. #1. If you guys are ever in Cleveland, you guys can meet me there. Let's see here. Nino Beats. Lawrence, what's up, buddy? Good to have you on, sir. Who's in the thumbnail? That's Mr. Pixel himself. Aloha Android. Tito's in the house. Come on now. I took that image from your Twitter, like avatar.
Oh, yeah. I seen that.
Yeah. Thanks, Raph. Hopefully the audio and the video is good for all. Fultonic, good to have you on, sir. Ooh, Joel, it's been a while, man. Good to see you on, buddy. The greatest show on earth. I doubt it seriously, but that is a very nice thing to say. Thank you. Appreciate that. Aloha from LA. Thanks, John. Good to have you on. Jamaal's in the house. Good to have you on, sir. Gregory, good to have you on as well. Randy's here. Greg A is here. Bruce is in the house. Oh, now the whole gang is in full effect. Ronald, Heath. Yeah, now the crew's here. I was saying, where is everybody? There's John Fluxon. You know. Ricky's in the house. Good to see you, buddy. Renardo's here. Rami's here. Timothy in the house. Got the Pixel 4 XL. He's loving it. He likes it more than his Pixel 3. That's good. Jamil, thanks for the super chat, buddy. Appreciate it, man. Jamil, always very generous. Thank you, man. Appreciate the contributions to the channel. Slaw, good to have you on, man. Aloha. What is that? What is the other thing you called me the one time? Malahi?
Oh, mahalo? Mahalo?
Mahalo, yeah.
That means thank you.
Oh, man, that is a good thing to know. I'll be learning good stuff, man. I don't want to learn the swear words and all that those languages. Give me the good stuff that actually can like say to people without offending them. I hate that. Like when people know a cuss word in some random language, like, yeah, man, I know 8 words in Greek, and they just start cussing you out, and you're like, dude, like, you don't know how to say hello or how are you or any of that.
I remember one time when I was in Waikiki, this a tourist that was there, he literally thought the word mahalo meant trash because it was on every trash can. So I had to explain to him, like, nah, this means thank you.
That's funny because it's like thanking them for using the receptacle. Let's see, Seabass here. What's up, Sebi? Good to have you on, sir. Mikey's Tech Review, been a while, but it's good to have you on. Glad to see you on here more often. Really not a big deal for me. Okay, super chat from Mikey. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah.
I think I'm almost caught up. Well, just a couple more here. Brad B's in here. Humphreys is in the house. Scott is here. Matt Dubb. Angel. Thank you guys for being here. And, of course, Chungus is among us. Good to have you on, Chungus. Cesar, good to have you on as well. See, the only Arabic I know is the curse words. Man, these people are tripping. Seriously. They should have taught you how to say something nice. Maybe please and thank you. Let's start there. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We've got an agenda, but it's a loose agenda. We're not going to spend X amount of time on each particular topic. We'll kind of go with it. If we've exhausted it, we'll move on. How does that sound, Tito?
Yeah. Hold on one sec. I hear my son. He's like, I think he got in trouble. My kids are gonna be. You're gonna hear them in and out because they're playing Roblox, and that's like the worst thing ever. Because then they tend to fight.
I got a little one too, Tito. I ain't worried about it, man. We're used to it. Yeah, big shout out to the Discord gang. Stace, good to have you back. Daniel. See, Shokan, that's good. And then the good stuff, John. You're solid, man. All right, so let's get this thing going. Big news out of Google to get things started.
Mm-hmm.
At a birthday bash, I'll be chiming in here and there. Good to see you, Sneedlings. Oh, okay. Enjoy your time, Maverick. Hopefully you got some headphones if you're not hearing anything we got to say. You guys might be partying a little hard over there. All right, so Tito, Fitbit.
Yep.
I like Fitbit as a company. A little bit of background on Fitbit. Overall, I'd say they are, if not the most successful wearable company, we could at least say that they have the most notoriety.
Yep.
They do you think about like what's happened in like the last 10 years. Tons and tons of wearable startups. Not many have really survived. There's fitness trackers from Garmin, obviously Fitbit. There was Pebble.
Yep.
And actually, I believe Fitbit ended up buying Pebble like within the last couple of years, right?
Yeah, they did.
Okay. Now, the company itself, Fitbit, has been around since 2009, strictly as an activity tracker company, not really about connectivity to like smartphones and other applications and things like that. It was always kind of its standalone hardware, I guess.
Yep.
They focused on like your vitals, your health statistics, collecting data for you to track, moment to moment, hour to hour, as you walk, as you run, as you train, whatever it is, those different vitals, and implementing that data and tracking through their software. Most of the connectivity they did was through Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. So in terms of connecting, any type of uploading or collection of that data had to be done over Wi-Fi. Pete, good to have you on, dude.
Hopped in just in time to hear about Fitbits.
What's going on,
So,
Pete?
I used to have a Fitbit. Stopped working.
I'll speak a little bit to kind of like, I was just kind of covering a little bit of their history and what Google plans on doing with them.
Did you start with Pebble?
Right. We talked about Pebble. So Pebble was actually purchased by Fitbit a couple of years ago, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And see, that's good in a way because it kind of connects intelligences, development teams, engineering, software approach. There's a lot that can be integrated into the products when you have these different teams. And here's what I'll say about Google. So Google is amazing when it comes to AI. Google does amazing things with software. It seems like they're moving towards this like hardware thing. We saw what they do, like in terms of smartphones. They purchased an HTC design team, and that kind of went into some of their more recent hardware implementations of the Pixel devices. And it was something they had to do because counting on LG wasn't really working. Production issues, displays, there was like all this other stuff going on. So they're trying to address it that way. So I think in spurring innovation in wearables, they're like, well, we got to compete with Apple, Samsung, Xiaomi, Huawei, all these competitors from the hardware standpoint. We need a legit team that's going to be designing. So along with the designing, you also get the development side. So everything up to this point points to them doing something with wrist wearables, but we could potentially be something innovative in like different types of locations on the body. So I don't know, like leg, arms, wherever they can get the vitals from.
Kind of like the Ring Fit Adventure stuff.
Yeah.
They're getting vitals off your leg.
Is my video and audio okay now? I don't know. Usually when somebody tells me my video and audio is off, it's usually their phone or something, whoever's watching.
Nah, you're a little choppy on my end, too.
Oh, I am choppy? Okay. I don't know. Everything seems to be feeding okay.
Hopefully I get less feedback. I put one of these nubs on my mic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't got anything now, so we should be good. Okay, so in terms of the acquisition,
real quick, the visible codes, didn't those end November 1?
Yeah, that's over.
Yeah, you can stop that, Rafi.
Yeah, Rafi, just so you get the code thing doesn't work anymore. They ended about it later. So
yeah.
I don't know if it could be I guess it could be my unblink. I'm supposed to be getting plenty. I don't know.
Supposed to be getting 35. It's not plenty.
Okay. All right. Hopefully we are good. Okay. I don't know. You see anything noticeable on my side now, Pete? We good?
It's improved.
Okay. All right. So, anyways, the purchase was for $2.1 billion. It looks like they're going all in because that's a big time purchase for a wearable company that has downsized a bit, It's a tough market. You think about Apple and what they've been doing lately with their wearable, with the Apple Watch. Very successful, Pete. Tito, I'm sure you guys are aware. Like, you look around, it's really the only wearable that we see at a mass scale.
Yep.
Like, when most people say they want a wearable, I think they think Apple Watch. Some probably think Samsung.
Yeah.
They do their Gear series and all of that. I don't
I had
really
no
hear
idea.
too much of the Xiaomi stuff, you know.
I had no idea my Fossil even existed until I Googled what are some good Wear OS watches, which says something about the ecosystem.
Right. Here's the thing. Your watch looks attractive, Pete. I have a Moto 360. Those are good-looking watches, in my opinion. I don't look at an Apple Watch and say, wow, such amazing design. That's a beautiful watch. To me, it's because it's square. I don't know. I've never been a fan of square timepieces.
Wait,
So I've
Google
never been
also-
compelled to buy.
Google bought Fossil?
Really?
I don't know. Maybe you could check into that, Pete.
Engadget in January 2019. What does Google out get for buying Fossil smartwatch tech?
Hmm.
All right, so they've heavily invested into wearables. This puts them now with a combined Fitbit, which is Pebble and Fitbit.
Yeah.
And then they've got the Fossil end as well. The thing is we've seen LG abandon wearables with the Watch Urbane, which was nice.
Google bought half of Fossil's R&D development team for $22 million. Huh.
Interesting.
So,
Thanks for the heads up, Tim.
So if you think about it overall, like Wear OS, is that the most recent name, Tito?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
So it is Wear OS. So where it's at right now, it's people are starving for wearables. They want decent looking watches that have full functionality, behave, act, and have features like what we see with the Apple Watch. And they're willing to pay the money, but people haven't seen the product. And part of it is processors and hardware and internals.
Mm-hmm.
Part of it is the operating system. And of course, they go hand in hand. And this is why Apple wins, because they do both. They cover both. They upgrade both. They develop both. So that's why they're able to cover all their bases. Where are you at with this purchase, Tito? I'll start with you. Where are you at with this purchase? Where are you at with the current state of like the vision for Wear OS and what Android is doing?
Well, so for me, when I caught wind that they acquired Fitbit for $2.1 billion, it pretty much like sparks a light for a lot of people that have been waiting for something like this to happen, because like ever since the Pixel first came out, there's always been this rumor of a Pixel watch. You would just see that fly everywhere. The Pixel watch, when is it coming? When's it coming? And every time that we get the Made by Google event, no watch, no wearable, nothing. And so for them to do this, kind of like what it tells me is that they're finally getting the point, that wearables is something that they need to kind of step into. But my only thing is like when I look at Google and their track record, like for instance, the Pixel, an example for them coming in, the last couple of months have had some slight issues as far as like software optimization. That's where I kind of get afraid for Google. Like, I don't want them to like half-ass rush this so they can try to get in the market for wearables and compete against Apple and try to rush this. I want them to actually do it right and bring us something that we can all pretty much enjoy. So that's the only take I have on that.
It's largely what I believe myself. Think Snead is often dealing with some issues.
Yeah.
I just hope they can, if they do end up with smartwatch hardware, end up releasing like a new form of a pebble, even without the bio tracking abilities.
Yeah.
Just because those were, I used to think I didn't need a smartwatch. I tried a pebble out and I'm like, I can't live without this anymore, especially with my business.
Yeah, I actually currently right now I'm still using my Pebble. Like I have my Pebble Time right now, and I it's weird. I pay like a $3 subscription to that company Rebel that's
Yep.
maintaining it. Yeah, just to be able to use like the voice to text and the weather. But yeah, it's still pretty solid for me though.
I got like a Pebble 2 with this paper white screen.
Yeah.
So this battery lasted for 2 weeks. And I ended up having to replace it when, even after reinstalling the firmware or software, the half the screen decided not to display.
Man, I still have my Pebble too. Like I alternate in between. Like I have my original Pebble, Pebble Time Steel, and Pebble 2. I still use them. No. I don't know.
So
I think
I've got a Moto 360. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it. It looks awesome. It stopped getting software support maybe about a year in. I was hoping to get 2 years out of it. It stopped. And it was as soon as they sold the Generation 2 that they said the hardware doesn't hold up to the new software update. And then I was done. I'm like, so when you tell me I get 1 year of software, I'm done, man. I can't spend $200 to $300 on a wearable every year. You know,
Nope.
I need 2 years. I prefer 3, because if my phones are getting support for 3 years, I want my watches getting support for 3 years also. Carlos, thank you for the super chat, man. Where are you guys at with I don't know, do you think I'm off there? Do you think that's fair? I mean, what should my expectations be?
I personally think like if you spend $40 on something, a year is more than reasonable, but once you get to the 200 or so price range, you're paying for something that should have some stability. You should have ongoing support.
Yeah.
Simply because you pay a premium price, you should get a premium service from that. If the software, after a year and the new model comes out, software in the previous starts to get deprecated simply because they can't design the hardware for the old hardware, then they design the software, the next version, wrong. Especially if you get, a color screen and it can support apps.
I mean, the integration with apps needs to be complete. There shouldn't be a situation where certain apps don't work that are fitness-based or vitals-based. So I think there's also the App Store piece as well, with Google Play.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, they've got to keep all. So I think there has to be a dedicated team strictly in the business of keeping apps up to date, web development, integration of software, monthly updates, patches, whatever it is, so that it doesn't seem like it's half-baked, man. Because right now, like, you can't really convince someone you need to walk away from the Apple Watch. Where do you go?
Well, if you walk away from the Apple Watch or even an iPhone after buying an Apple Watch, you have a $200, $300, $400, $100 watch that you have to go through the pain of selling.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you're with the watch, you're locking yourself further into that ecosystem. Everything I do on this watch, I could do on an Apple Watch. So I just don't get that electrocardiogram thing.
So here's my expectation. Here's what I think Google is going to do. I think they're going to make a few models, like actual Google devices that are considered wearables. I think they're going to do a premium watch. I think they're going to do I guess we'll call it affordable, like for the average consumer, we'll price it under $200, maybe a premium one close to $250, $300. And I think they're also going to do a couple of things that are different, more innovative. Because there's just too much of a gap from the last time we saw a generation of wearables. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's got to be something nice up and coming. Because what Samsung does with their wearables is really good, but they're huge.
Oh, yeah.
With members of the fair sex, like, do the ladies really want to wear a huge watch? So they're going to have to do something that's a little bit better fitting, you know, like a smaller wrist, you know, a smaller watch face and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Am I feeding better now? Is my video and audio okay?
Yeah.
Looks like you went up a little in resolution.
All right. Well, I don't know. Jamil says something could be wrong. Hopefully we're good. John, thank you, man. We'll see you when you get back. So I don't know. To me, regardless, I'm actually okay with other manufacturers getting involved. But again, Google has to hold their feet to the fire and updates. In fact, honestly, I don't think manufacturers should have any say in the updates. Like the operating system, as they would call it, like LG when they do theirs, or Huawei or Xiaomi, if they're going to choose to use it, it should be pretty standard. Their features should be an overlay and not a complete skin. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we're going to have this suite of features that are just added on as like almost like added on to the coding like a folder, and it just gets slapped on. Give them a month to test it and run it, you know, put it in beta, and then that update should be within 50 to 60 days. Come on. Like, there's just no other way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Going back to what you said earlier, it's like something that really resonates with me. The longevity with a wearable. I mean, that's, at least for me, that's what I'm looking into if I'm going to buy, you know, a wearable to go along with any of the smartphones that I use, is having a watch that is going to get those updates, stay up to date, bug patches, and just know that if I'm going to drop anywhere between 250 to 300 on something that's going to go on my wrist, that I'm going to get my dollars out of it instead of, you know, it just ended up being on my desk as a nice little ornament.
Technoid says, my only issue with Google with their wearables is their handling of data security. Google's known for that and doing crap with people's data. Wearable.
When I was signing up with Wear OS, they did say they were taking some biometric data from me. They allowed me to turn off some of it. And they told me for what I couldn't turn off, I could go and into my dashboard in the wearable area and delete information. Which, quite frankly, I think is slightly more transparent than Apple, since they say we don't take anything, but since...
We know that's not true.
I was going to say, since their diagnostic data goes through the same port and hits the same DNS server as their check for update data, I cannot be 100% certain.
It's true.
Although it's been a little bit since I used iOS, so that could have changed slightly, but I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't.
So I think overall we're kind of excited about the prospects. We don't know for sure what's going to be the outcome, but we're excited to see something new potentially coming to Google and Android. And you know, people want wearables. They clearly are buying Apple Watches, and for those that don't want a square watch, there's some potential here.
Just
I
fingers
like
crossed.
my round watch.
Yeah, go ahead, Tito.
Fingers crossed that they don't half-ass it and rush it, just trying to catch up with Apple. I mean, I just want them to take their time. I want them to put out a good product, something that we could all just be like, that is good, and not have like 1,000,001 things to say what's wrong with it and why Google's failing in hardware.
And it doesn't have to be what Apple does, because if somebody's buying Android Wear OS, you've already got them away from Apple. If they're looking for something else, you don't need to convince them to use something else. You just got to convince them that what you're offering is good.
That's very true.
Yep.
All right. So let's talk RCS chat. This RCS messaging conundrum. All right,
I've been using it.
All right, so Pete's got the workaround. The little workaround, it's a few steps, a little bit of finagling, and a little bit of know-how, but you can get it, right?
Yep.
That's not what we need, though. It's not.
Nope.
We need something different. Let me try something different. Tito, why don't you go ahead and get us started with the whole RCS chat thing and the situation there?
Okay. Well, just out of curiosity, since you got it going, Pete, like, how's it working out for you, though?
Haven't complained. If I copy a message and paste it into a different chat, I seem to get a hash value table, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
The video compression is better than what, with Stacy, the guy I've been testing it with from the Discord server, the video compression seems to be not as compressed as Google Drive or Hangouts or SMS. So that's nice. Other than that, the read receipts and the typing notification seems to be on point. That's all I've really noticed with it, though.
Yeah, it was because I remember when I used to be with Boost Mobile, like, I got notified that Boost Mobile was actually going to be using RCS with the Android messages. So when the differences in that, for me, what I noticed basically, which is actually kind of cool, was like when I sent a message, I would know when someone actually read that message. So I wasn't like waiting on like a guessing game to know when they got it. It just turned it into like a whole chat thing, which was, to me, it was better. The experience was better. Sending photos was a lot better. I noticed a huge difference than doing it through regular SMS. And it just, by playing around with it, it just showed me something that, that like I thought like it was gonna become normalcies for everybody. Like,
yeah, it still hasn't.
Yeah, and that's crazy that it hasn't, or like that carriers aren't supporting it at this point right now and rolling it out. I think that would have been like probably the smartest move to do, is to bring RCS out and roll it out as a better experience.
Carriers said they're going to be adding RCS in was it early 2020 by default?
Okay.
But at the moment, those on Android using it do end up having to use a sandboxed version that Google hosts on a development server.
Wow.
Jamil, thank you for the super chat, as well as Lawrence. Thank you for your super chat. Appreciate you guys making those donations and supporting the channel. Thank you guys again. Hopefully I've got my whole situation figured out. So the RCS situation, where, we're looking for something of a standard. We're looking for an app. We're looking for a messaging system that works across all manufacturers, all, OEMs of Android. And we want to be able we want to see them use those features. We want to see the status of our messages and when it was sent and received and read. And, like pretty much everything that iMessage offers in video sending and MMS. We want all of that. TK, good to have you on, man. Thank you for being here. And appreciate the super chat, bro. Thank you.
A more enriched experience, basically.
Good to see you, Sean. Yeah, we want what everybody's been getting with iOS.
I've been trying group chat with it since I only have one other person from the Discord with it. So,
big shout out to TK. Made it out to Cleveland this weekend. Stayed for a couple of days and showed him around town a little bit. I hope you enjoyed your time here, TK. I hope you enjoyed your stay and stopped by at the bakery, did some shopping over at Cracker Park, and hopefully you had a good time, man. And it's a shame that it just got cold as soon as you got to Cleveland. It just got cold. Like last week, it was 70 degrees. And then this week it got cold.
If it got cold when I got into Cleveland, I'd be like, my weather's following me.
So, yeah, that's that situation. The whole workaround situation, Pete, how difficult is it? Like, if somebody was so compelled to want to do the workaround, like Tito, I don't know if you've done it, but I know Pete has. Like, what's all this about here?
It's basically if you can navigate services using a service finder app, it's basically idiot proof after that point. Let me do a quick demo. I'll pull up the app and see, what was it called? Activity Launcher. Then it loads up all your activities. Apparently, I have 400 activities.
Robert says it's beta testing.
And then you slide down to messages. It's here somewhere. While
you're pulling that up, Pete, I'm going to go ahead and kind of prep the next topic. Just go ahead and locate what you got to do.
Set RCS flags, and then you tap and fill in. And they're pre-populated.
I'll tell you what, Jamaal, if you want to get in touch with Pete, he might be able to troubleshoot that for you. Maybe if you want to, maybe reach out or connect with Jamaal. I think you have his email, so maybe that's something you could do there.
We started chatting in the Discord. He asked about T-Mobile.
Oh, okay. Tech Lava Mama, good to have you on. Oscar, good to have you on as well. We actually have some people in the chat right now that own the device, the Google Pixel 4. So actually, I'll be looking for you guys in the live chat. For those of you that have had it for a week or two, have had it for a while, you've been using it, you made the purchase. So Tito's big on the Google phones. Pete, you are too.
Yep.
And I've always been a big fan. And this year's a no-go for me. Let's talk about the Pixel 4 as a legit smartphone option for 2019. And actually, we have to say 2020 because people are going to have these phones for at least a year, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to start first. Let's just talk pricing, because depending on the price point, that dictates if the rest of the stuff is up to par as a consumer. Because you could charge $300 for a smartphone, you could charge $500, you could charge $1,000, you could charge $1,500, but it all depends on what you're getting in that package if it is going to be worth it. So Google Pixel 4 is $799 to start.
Yep.
The Pixel 4 XL is $100 more, coming in at $899.
Which is $50 less than the 3XL was.
Okay, so like in terms of at time of launch. Okay. So all those things considered, from this point on, as we talk about these features, you have to keep it relative to that particular price point. Because already I'm seeing in the chat right now, this is from TK, the phone should have been $499. That's a, like, do you $500? And they're selling it for $900. He's saying it's worth $500. That's a huge gap in perception of value.
Yeah.
So,
to tell you the truth, if I could find a deal for paying it at $650, I'd bite.
Well, here's the thing, Pete. Storage. 64 gigs is entry.
Yep.
128's your upgraded option. And that's it. There's no other options. Tito, what do you think of that storage?
64 gigs, 128. I wonder why they never decided to go 256. Because like for me, from my perspective, okay, like I don't have a lot of things. Like I have the Pixel 3, it's 64 gigs. And I don't even have 34. I got 34% right now that I have filled up. So for someone like me, 64 is not really gonna be a big deal for me, but that's just me. Everybody else has different preferences, and there's people who want to keep like their videos. They don't want to upload it to cloud. They don't want to upload it to Google Drive or anything. They want to keep it on their phone,
Right.
and that eats up storage. So, pricing where they launched it and in 64 gigs, I could agree it should have been low, like should have been lower for that amount, but they should have brought in a 256 gig variant as well. I think that would have kind of offset some things.
I almost feel like 64 can't be an option at this point.
So, this is kind of reminding me about the iPhone SE base level phone, where people were complaining about it being 16 gigs base.
Yeah.
And the justification from Apple was you have such limited space on your phone because you can back up everything but your apps to the cloud. So you keep all your documents, all your photos on the iCloud, and you just store your applications on your phone. And I didn't hear a lot of flack about that method, especially when the next phone also started at 16 gigs. And people are giving Google flack now about 64 gigs on the phone, and they're trying to upsell you on a slightly cheaper cloud solution than Apple.
Yeah.
So if iPhone users say, yeah, your storage is low, you have to buy cloud storage, they were in the same boat when Apple only released 16 gig phones. At least with 32 gigs base, you can do a days of photo or days of video before uploading it. At 32 gigs, you would not be able to have any apps on the phone if you want to take pictures.
And that's a rough position to be in, Pete, where you're having to offload daily. If you're on a vacation, like that's not an option, you know what I mean?
It's not an option, but again, Apple's option was you get an $80 phone adapter and a camera kit, and then you plug a USB drive into the bottom of your device. The Pixels are having an issue the iPhone did 5 or 6 years ago with storage and the way you offload while you're not connected to good internet, so USB drive. At least with these Pixels, you can use a simple USB drive. You don't have to buy $120 of accessories.
There's a couple of issues we got here. So Google's big on using the cloud, but the problem I see there is they're not giving you the cloud service that was included with the previous generations.
That's the main reason why I didn't upgrade.
That's one of the reasons why I didn't. It's one of the main ones, like Pete said, because what made the Pixel 2 XL attractive to me, because it was an expensive phone, was we're going to let you take all of the high resolution recorded video and photography, and we're going to let you store it on our cloud for the lifetime of your phone or whatever it was.
3 years.
3 years, right? So the lifetime support of the phone. At that point, the video resolution and the photos dropped down to high res, not original res. So if you were doing, 1440 or 4K or whatever, right?
Yeah.
so now it's less attractive. The pot's not as sweet. And I think there's some other things to consider too. We didn't even get to them yet.
I have like 200 something gigs of 4K video, and I'm just a casual shooter.
Right. I mean, here's another problem. T-Mobile's not even carrying the 128 in their store. They've only got the 64.
Yeah, they'll ship you the 128.
Right, but they don't have it in store. So if you're a store person, which people are, they like the technicians, and they like the salespeople, and they want to have that experience in the store. It's really hard, for them to do anything like that if they don't feel comfortable doing it or they don't want to. That kind of decreases their option within the store. Now, in terms of display, the size of the smaller one is 5'7", right, Tito?
I believe so.
Okay,
sounds about right.
Yeah.
And the larger one's at 6?
6'1".
Yeah, 6'1".
Okay, so it is noticeably bigger. Okay, that's fine. Resolution, the bigger one's quad HD.
Yeah.
The smaller one's still 1080p.
Which is better than if they had a. I wonder if the 4A is going to have a 720p like the 10XR.
That'd be interesting.
Apparently, T-Mobile doesn't ship the 128 gig one.
I don't know. I mean, I think there's some problems in multiple facets of some of this. I think the display stuff is a pain because some people want a smaller phone, but they want to keep the high resolution display. They want quad HD in a 5.7-inch display. They don't want to have to get the larger one. So, Tito, you're a big fan of the smaller variant, the regular standard size.
Yeah.
You're not getting quad HD on there, buddy.
I mean, that is something that leaves me puzzling with Google, and not just Google only, but like any OEM out there. It's like when they have, a regular size, a larger size, when they start putting more into the larger one than the smaller. Oh, my kids are going off right now. But that's what kind of agitates me. Is just like why dumb down the smaller one in favor of like giving more to the bigger one? Like some people don't want to carry a large device in their pocket. Some people just want to have one that fits in their hand, snugly fits in their pocket. That's how I am. That's why I have the Pixel 3 and not the 3 XL. But if like looking at the 4 and the 4 XL, the difference in the display resolution, yeah, that's going to be bothersome. It's just going to make me feel like that more effort was focused on the XL than the 4.
TK says, give me a regular size Pixel, quad HD, 256 storage, headphone jack, 120 hertz, and then I'll pay the 900. So in other words, you're not even really interested in a $500 Pixel. You want the maxed out Pixel, and you're willing to pay the 900. I think that's where people are at. People actually like
I'd
if
pay
you're
900 for a maxed out phone.
Me too, and that's what I'm saying is why did you do this, Google? This is like if this almost feels like a mid-range offer.
Heck, if you gave me that, I'd pay $950.
Bro, it almost feels like a mid-range offer. Like I would recommend if you would just want a Google phone just to have one, just buy a Google Pixel 3a XL.
That's why I'm waiting on. That's why I didn't get the Pixel 4 right away off jump. Like I'm gonna wait until that thing goes down to like $499, because then if I spend that money on it, in my like how everyone's saying it, I kind of agree with them on it. It seems justifiable at that point. If I'm getting the Pixel 4 with the way that it's spec'd out, what it carries, and then also the battery and the user experience behind it, and like I've been seeing other people's reports back on that. $499 is where I'm comfortable dropping even on that. So I'm just waiting until it goes to that price if I even decide to pick one up.
Up to this point, nobody has felt like Google finessed them. If you bought the 3 or the 3XL, you got what you paid for. If you bought the 2 or the 2XL, you got what you paid for. If you bought the OG Pixel, you got what you paid for. This feels a little different. This feels like I think what TK was saying. He says that he feels like they finessed his pockets because while he is a reviewer of the tech, right, he's going to buy this phone, he's going to review it. He can't recommend it at the price point. So he's going to be honest and he's going to say to his subscribers, his viewers, whoever's willing to listen to him, you're not getting what you're paying for in this device. And even to somebody who is on the Android side, who maybe is on the fence now thinking maybe I should try iOS, go with an Apple device, you're getting a more premium experience overall with a $700 Apple device. Like the iPhone 11, I don't normally say this. The iPhone 11 is a better value than the Google Pixel 4. Now, the Google Pixel 4 XL might be a better value than the 11 Pro or the 11 Pro Max because they start getting over 1,000. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
but
it's that price point, I think.
The iPhone Pro Max doesn't seem to be like the proper comparison with the Pixel 4 XL. The iPhone 11 Pro does. Simply because it's the Max is whatever tech they can throw in and they know people would buy it. If we had a XL Max, I'm sure we could get the 4K screen, the 256 gigs, the bigger battery, all that stuff.
Is design a big deal to you, Pete?
I can always get a case to augment it.
Tito?
No, I'm not too concerned with like hardware hot looks.
Battery life.
That
Yes.
is true.
So TK could speak to the battery. He has the phone. He's got the XL, I believe. The XL is the only one able to get you through any type of true usage. From what I'm understanding, the 4 is struggling with a few hours of screen on time.
Yep.
Like I'm legit hearing 3.5 to 4.5.
As a matter of fact, I know someone that has the 4. they've been basically like feeding me info on their experience with the 4 and the battery life on Twitter. And the saddest thing is, and man, I mean, I like Pixels, and this is where like I look at Google in the sense like, what did you guys do? Because for her to basically get a decent, amount of time on her battery, she literally has to turn off the 90 hertz refresh and also motion sense. So then what's the point of having those features on the phone if the battery can't hang to provide that? It's just like, it's not, there's no point to do it. Like get a Pixel 3 then that doesn't have those.
Talking about battery, when I had a Galaxy S9 for all of a week and a half, I rather enjoyed throwing on Battery Saver Standard and getting 3 days out of it.
There's a couple of devices out there that I see a lot of people using. TK has one. He's got the ROG Phone 2, ROG from Asus.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's got full LTE band support here in the US. I'm not sure. But whatever the case may be, that thing is truly amazing. Look, these manufacturers are playing us with these 90 hertz displays. It's a joke. A 120 hertz display is meaningful as an upgrade. 90 ain't cutting it. Either like it's like kind of sort of trying. It's like, okay, I got 100 feet to go. I'm going to run the first 50 feet and then I'm going to walk the last 50. It feels so like lazy to do a 90 hertz display. Why? I don't understand it, bro. I use TK's ROG phone. It has a 120 hertz display. It is truly amazing how nice and buttery smooth that refresh rate makes the image quality look. That transitioning is so smooth. It's so nice. Bro, you can't go to 90 hertz from 60. Like, you got to go to like 120 to really make it a meaningful feature. And now that I've tried 120 hertz, I went back to 60 and I'm like, wow, that's a huge difference. But why 90? Why did they even bother with that little pit stop like with the One Plus and now with this like whatever Google's calling their 90 hertz refresh rate? It's not really substantial. It's not a sell to me. You can't sell a phone on a 90 hertz display.
Not logically.
I mean, I had a 60 hertz TV. As soon as I got a 120 hertz TV, it was a noticeable upgrade.
Oh yeah.
And then when they started moving to 240 motion, the 120 hertz started getting even better, right? The sports, the Marvel movies, all that stuff, with the CG started looking amazing.
On your 4K TV, have you watched X-Men First Class?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I watched.
No, seriously, the CG starts tearing in First Class in 4K.
Yeah, it's but like what I'm saying is like Google's trying to sell us on these features that are not special. A 90 hertz display was done last year. Bro, they're becoming Apple.
Yep.
And not the new Apple, they're becoming the old Apple. Because new Apple is giving value. They're selling an 11 for $700.
Mm-hmm.
They're selling a 10R for $599. That's unlike Apple in a way. And Apple's gone away I don't know, it's weird, man. Tito, I feel like we're in a weird place right now with Apple.
Twilight Zone.
It's freaking me out, man. Seriously. What's going on, Easy? Good to have you on. Go ahead.
To be quite honest, though, I mean, for me, I think it's a good thing to see that happen because it's unusual for Apple to do that. So for them doing that, it's like great because that's what a lot of consumers are wanting for a long time. When they're kind of looking at like when they're buying a new iPhone, like the value they're getting, what they're spending on it, longevity, which Apple pretty much had that down. But then to just completely go left field and say, okay, now we're gonna sell the iPhone 11 at this price, the Pro and Pro Max at this price, last year's 10R, which did good, at this price, and like it's going down. It's like that just spun everybody in a different direction. Like what's happening? But it's a good thing. So that's what I think it's a good thing they did that. But like to look at Google and then what they did with the Pixel 4, then it's like what happened? Because I root for that team. So what?
Right.
Happens,
Right. Here's now. I don't think any of us are really too picky when it comes to design per se. I mean, I don't want an ugly device, but like, being industrial is quite all right in my opinion. King Ramsey says, "Come on, Google, make the bezel symmetrical." So I'm actually really okay with top or bottom, preferably the bottom, having no bezel.
Yeah.
So like top can have like a massive bezel, all the sensors, the speaker, fit everything you got to do in there, right? And then give me one part that has no bezel. And that'll be the part that I will, I'll work with that instead of trying to shrink everything so small. And I don't like curved edge glass because like I have an S10 Plus and those crazy phantom touches on the side drive me crazy. I have to use it with a case.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so like when I'm trying to watch a video, I accidentally touch on another video and like it's kind of a pain. So in a way, I think King Ramsey's onto something. He wants symmetry because it's more pleasing, but I think they just have to do the bezel thing right. So if you're going to have a chunky one, make it chunky, but make the other one minimal or absent, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never really been too hung up on bezels, and that's just only because of my perspective. When I'm staring at my phone, I'm looking at the screen, so the bezels disappear.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, it's not too meaningful. I mean, like I said, it'll never be a make or break for me.
Yeah.
Because like even the Razer phone with its huge bezels, it actually helps it become a better gaming phone.
Yeah.
So, camera. The still photography, TK, if you could speak to it, maybe Tito, you can also. Pete, you have a 3rd generation Pixel. Photography is great, right? Yeah. These Google phones do that very, very well.
They make it idiot proof.
Yeah, and the autofocus and the features are very usable. The interface is nice with the photography. They've gone away from a wide angle lens. I'm not happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if they just make the main shooter a little bit modified to the point where it gets a decent view, we can deal with it, right?
Yep.
I have a problem with the video capture, though, because the video capture on Google phones, it feels like it's the same from the original Pixel generation. I can't say that my 2XL was any different than my OG Pixel when it came to video. Very, very similar. So still photography has is amazing. Like an original OG Pixel probably does photo better than 90% of phones today. Still photography.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'll kind of go with it. Yeah.
But like video leaves a lot to be desired, man. And like my 3 AXL, I don't like the video on it. You know, I don't. And I don't know. They're saying that the new ones, again, video is a shortcoming. People are saying that Apple does video much better than Google. And that was true last year. That was true the year before. And it appears to be the truth now.
Mhm.
So,
I'll go with that. Yeah.
and you think about it, Tito, like you do IGTV, right?
Yeah.
And you are a content creator here on YouTube.
Yep.
And Pete, you do tutorials, you do repairs and stuff. You've made videos. I mean, video does matter, right?
Oh yeah.
And they've done nothing to really change it. Again, another shortcoming that will keep somebody from buying it at the price point.
Yeah, I mean, I can pretty much confirm that because I use my Pixel XL still, and then I also use my Pixel 3. Video, there's not really much of a difference when I'm looking at it. It's like I can shoot a video on the Pixel 3, post it, and post it side by side with the XL, and it's gonna come out the same. So that's a fun thing that a lot of us experience with that because we want, you know, when you get a newer, like when they release a newer device and it's supposed to be an upgrade from last year's model, then cover all aspects of it, not just one area. And then don't go to the stage with an excuse of, oh, this year we didn't really focus on video, but we'll do that on the next generation. Because even now they put themselves in the corner because by them saying that, now I'm expecting it with the Pixel 5, that they better do something with that video or that's going to break.
If they can give me astrophotography plus in the Pixel 5, I'll buy it.
See, but there you are. You're already looking ahead. You're not thinking Pixel 4.
Dude,
and this phone just came out, bro. This phone is like 3 weeks old.
One of the killer features of the Pixel 4 is that voice dictation app, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
They're releasing that all the way back to the OG Pixel with some slight changes. OG Pixel, you might not be able to do it in airplane mode, but you'd still get some good voice dictation.
I think Sean's right about the processing time in terms of, you know, what it takes to actually do all this imaging trickery and stuff. Like what Google does amazing with software, they're not doing with hardware. So
yeah, their software seems to compensate for some of the hardware shortcomings.
Yep.
If they could give us no shortcomings in the hardware, think what the software could do.
I think something's got to give. They're falling behind. They're not a legitimate flagship this year. My personal opinion. I wouldn't spend their asking price on it.
I don't think they'd be considered a flagship if we could get the stock Android editions of, say, the Galaxy S10. So I think it would be more of a demo device than anything else.
Which is pretty much like the Nexus, because that's what the Nexus was.
Yeah.
So it's defeating the purpose of the Pixel, and it's going back to a Nexus.
Pretty much. I mean, that's how I feel with the Pixel 4 anyways.
Wow. And you're Mr. Pixel, man.
Yeah. Crazy enough. I mean, I put that on the channel because someone left me a really nice long comment that was held for me to review, and they had some choice phrases that I'm not going to say. And I don't care if people troll me. So I just took what he called me and I put it on the channel like, hey, to let him know I read your comment, bro.
I mean, everybody's got like something that they can joke about and not take personally. I think it's nice the way you kind of spun that.
Yeah.
You know. You guys want to talk about visible party pay?
Yeah, let's go with that. Pixel 4 is dead.
So just like that, right?
Like that.
So here's what Visible had been doing previously. Visible, the prepaid option from Verizon. Verizon lies, tells people they're not Verizon. We are not a Verizon prepaid company. We are visible wireless service. Lies, lies, lies. It is Verizon. Maybe it's some kind of operational segment or whatever, but it's Verizon. And the visible service works for some people. It's a bottom priority prepaid provider that would be the equivalent of what Cricket is to AT&T, what Boost is to Sprint, and what Metro by T-Mobile is to the Magenta Un-carrier. So it falls right in line there. The pricing, however, is really good. $40 for a single line gets you Verizon's LTE nationwide. There's some shortcomings, right? You're not getting the fallback. You're not getting the 3G nationwide and stuff like that. It's wherever the LTE is, which is most of the country. And there will be parts where you'll have gaps and all that, but I get that. But anyways, you're going to get bottom priority on Verizon. So in a particular city or market where you are, I can't recommend Visible if you're in a congested Verizon market. But if your area is bolstered well with connectivity with Verizon, it's a great option. $40 a month, unlimited LTE, unlimited hotspot. In my experience, it ranges between like 5 to 10 megabits per second. My speeds in the CLE, very good, 30 to 50 to 80 megabits per second. I've seen over 100. Not often, but I have seen it. They will cap you at 480p video res, so you will buffer if you put on 720p. So be mindful of that. It's a prepaid provider. It's the basics. It's just like Metro. It's just like Cricket. It's that whole thing. However, now with Visible Party Pay, it's giving you a group discount similar to how family plans work, to where you can save some money on a per line basis. Here's the catch. You don't have to be on the same account. So that means me and Pete and Tito and whoever else, some random person from the chat, let's say Caleb, we decide that we want to be in the same Visible Party Pay, right? We join the same party. Because of that, we would each get a discount of $15 per month. So instead of 40, we each pay 25. All with our separate accounts, we just get that group discount. So one line is 40, two lines is 35 each.
Yep.
35.
And then 3 lines is 30 each, and then 4 lines is 25 each. So if you think about it, all you have to do is go to the SMT Discord, join one of these parties.
And there's a channel for it.
Right. There's an exact channel for it. Save yourself a little bit of money just by being a part of a party can save you $5, $10, or $15 per month. So, Pete, from 40 to 25, is it worth it?
Depends on if you get Verizon LTE in your area. There are some places where they're still on X1 and 3G.
Well, you're only getting LTE on this, right?
Yeah, so it's worth it for, $25, $30 to use it. Could use it as an auxiliary hotspot, but only if you get Verizon in your area.
I don't know what Verizon is like in Phoenix, Tito. Maybe you could speak to the visible service there.
It's actually pretty good. And just real quick, TK's comment, like the same thing happened to me. My next bill is actually gonna be $5. But yeah, it's here in Arizona, it's actually really good because like I've traveled down south towards Sierra Vista, which is like a border town to Mexico, and the entire way, like I was thoroughly impressed with the connection I had. It was so good. I maintained a constant connection, and my down and up was like between 40 and 60 down, and like 20, 25 to 30 up the whole way.
I was seeing 20, 30, 50, 100 megabits per second with visible. And that would be in areas where, lots of macro sites, tons of towers, and Verizon really puts the spectrum to use. And speeds were great. And I live near a tower, so my service was awesome. For somebody that lives in an area or spends time in an area where Verizon is a mediocre performer, lots of congestion, tons of slowdown and whatnot.
Yeah,
I would say maybe rethink using this. Even at $25 a month, if you're constantly getting deprioritized below 2 megabits per second, 1 megabit per second, you're going to struggle with 480p.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost a situation where, like, at some point the value isn't there because your experience is so poor. So, like, even if you're only paying $25 a month, well, like, I would tell you just spend the $40 with Metro by T-Mobile if the T-Mobile option is better, because at least you'll have a better experience. You know what I mean? Angel, have a good night, buddy. Thanks for being here. I don't know, and it's one of those things, like, at $25, it's still worth a shot.
Hey,
Anybody here need a second line? I know I do. I mean, I've got 3 now. I've got one on its way. I've got a, I'm done using Visible. I have no use for it. I'm really liking my T-Mobile line, so I don't feel the need to have a Visible one anymore. Boost in a lot of markets could be free and not worth it. Sprint, man. Yeah. And actually, see, that's the thing. Boost is Sprint's native network. Sprint postpaid gets you those roaming agreements with T-Mobile.
Yep.
Yeah, the time change definitely could throw some people off right now.
Oh, that totally threw me off. I woke up at 5 a.m. It felt like 6.
And that's and you know what? Like, just to kind of cap off things on the Visible Party Pay, it's worth it to look at. If you haven't considered it, if you haven't tried it, if you haven't, looked into it, it's worth a look. All right, Pete, I'll start with you. Which carrier or carriers are you currently using?
T-Mobile.
Solo?
Solo.
Tito, you go.
Google Fi, Visible.
What do you like better?
Oh man. Kind of.
Remember, Tito's in the Phoenix area, so.
Oh no, because they both provide me something that I need. So I mean, if I was just going based off of like network coverage and speeds, I'd go with Visible. For like usage, like general usage, I'd go with Google Fi because I use the data only SIMs, which they don't charge extra for, so that actually works out where I keep like all my phones connected.
So it's all on the same, it's one line and you just have data only for multiple devices?
Yeah.
Ah. It's interesting.
And that's how like I'm cutting my bill down on having a family plan, because like my 14-year-old son and my 13-year-old son, they don't do phone calls at all. Like every time they call me, it's always like on Instagram or on Facebook Messenger. So data is all that they use.
Right.
So basically, technically, on the unlimited plan, $70 plus taxes added on top of that. But I got like 5 or 6 lines covered, technically.
I currently use Verizon postpaid. I've had that line since like 98. Like 1998, for those of you that aren't old enough to remember that year. There used to be
that year.
There used to be 1900s something back when we were born, right?
Yeah.
Or the Altel acquisition, right?
Right. I was part of that original Altel acquisition. That's right. I had Altel for years. And then it once Verizon started buying up anything that had towers, didn't
have coverage to begin with.
Right, where they didn't have native. So they're like, all right, to heck with the roaming agreements. Let's just buy the company.
Yep.
So I got that line, and then I have T-Mobile postpaid business. Right, Pete?
Yep, it's business.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be testing an AT&T MVNO up and coming. I'll keep you guys posted on that. I will let you guys know as soon as it is made available to me. It gets activated. I will do like an entire process of it, like a video and whatnot. So
does this mean you'll be deprioritized to the living daylights on the AT&T network?
We shall see. We shall see. So that's my situation. I know, TK, you got tons of stuff. You got Verizon postpaid. I know he's got a high priority there. He's got Google Fi, Visible, and AT&T FirstNet. So your Verizon and your AT&T FirstNet are those priority lines. Visible is your, I guess we'll call that the peasant line, right? And then Google Fi is that unique Google handoff switchy thingy that's going on there, which is kind of cool, actually. Who is your least favorite carrier, Tito?
Actually, to be honest, some people not gonna like this answer, but it's actually Cricket.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Why is that?
Visible's the dirt phone. Go ahead, Tito.
Well, really, it's more based on customer service than it actually is connectivity. Connectivity wise, I didn't really have a problem with them, but customer service wise, I had major problems that just it left a bad taste in my mouth that I just won't return to them ever.
Customer care matters, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I made a video about this, Tito. I know you did a response to it. I know you've worked in the industry.
Oh.
And Pete, you've worked in the industry and you know about customer care, and it's part of the reason you're still with T-Mobile.
Yeah, and why I don't use iPhones.
So it goes a long way, customer experience and customer care.
Definitely.
Where are you taking us, Pete? Where are you taking us?
Well, I have a deadline I'm late for. I'm also typing some code.
Oh, okay. So the carrier that I like the least is AT&T. Nothing to do with their network, everything to do with business practices and their entire genetic makeup. I mean, dating back to their origins, it's just been terrible. They just, they're just Thanos, bro. They literally want to get every Infinity Stone, snap their fingers in the gauntlet, and just get rid of everything. And that's how they deal with competition. Like, they don't want to deal with they don't want to outsell somebody. They don't want to offer more features. They don't want to provide value to customers. They want to get rid of competitors so they don't have to do all of that. Yep. Frustrating. It's very frustrating. And then I have to report on it, as it's part of my content. I have to be the one to deliver bad news all the time. AT&T customers lose feature. AT&T gets rid of Watch Now. AT&T blah 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 HBO. But you can't get it because you're not paying $120 a month for your wireless. I hate reporting that. It sucks. So to make things worse, their customer care isn't even good.
So did you notice that base new unlimited one has 0 premium data?
Yeah.
And they're giving people premium data. I hope the uncarrier move is we're done with premium data.
That's the thing about that premium data, though. Like, AT&T is really flexing their network right now, and people are reporting they're not being deprioritized ever. So in my opinion, you wouldn't have to buy the elite plan if your worry is just, okay, I want to get that 100 gigs of premium data. Like, if that's your only concern, then just get the bottom tier plan, because apparently they're not deprioritizing. Apparently the network is really good. Like, their cores and their management system is top notch. The only reason to get the elite would be like the HD streaming, the 30 gigs of hotspot data, or is it 50?
30?
Something like that.
It's 50.
It's 50. Okay. So that would be the only thing, Tito, your take on that?
No, I was reading a comment that TK said. I actually wanted to add on to that because he was talking about AT&T. He's like, bad experience, bad customer care. I pretty much know firsthand with them. Matter of fact, like when I used to work for Asurion, I worked for them, and they had a part where we would basically work for AT&T Pro Tech support. So anytime anyone calls AT&T Pro Tech support, you're actually talking to someone from Asurion. And their AT&T customer care used to try to avoid dealing with irate customers, so they would send them over to us. And it was a crazy thing because, like, when I would answer,
What was that?
I have no idea. That scared me for a second. But yeah, dude, I used to they would be like irate, and I would think they had a problem with their phone, and like that was going to be like troubleshooting their phone for them or whatever. And then like they're talking about their bill. I'm like, you got the wrong person.
Yeah. I used to have that with Apple Care, where they'd call the carrier would be like, okay, let me put you on hold. And then I got AT&T customers as well. I fixed their phone, and they're like, now can you tell me about why I got this extra $50 on my bill? And I'm like, didn't they tell you they were connecting you to Apple? Call back AT&T. I'm not going to be on hold for another 50 minutes to be able to have them transfer me to a different department. And then I get a dissatisfied review.
Rain and Woman, good to have you on. I saw you there in the live chat.
So, you know, AT&T does that to everyone.
The last thing I wanted... Pete, could you see if there's something going on from your end?
With what?
That feedback?
Ah, man, let me change my mic again.
Yeah, please just check if that's it. I don't know.
I just unplugged mine and plugged it back in. I thought it was mine for a second.
Hopefully that takes care of it. I don't know. We've had this issue before. We should have a fix. The last thing I want to get to, Tito,
one of these nodes on my mic.
Tito, merger. Where are you at with the merger, man? What? How are your feels on that?
I just want it to happen already. Just done. Get it done already. I've been watching both sides. I've been hearing, you know, people's worries of job loss and price hiking and those things, and it's like, okay, I get everyone's fear of that.
It's gonna happen if you don't do it too.
Yeah, pretty much. So either way, because I mean, again, like how I tell some people who talk to me about it when they're like 5G is coming and all this other sorts, I'm like, but think about it, you know, price is going to go up because it's 5G, it's not 4G, and obviously they're in it to make money, so at some point it's going to go up. Sprint's dead as it is from everything that I know about them. Why not, right? Why not have T-Mobile come up and like actually be in that position to compete with Verizon and AT&T and not be considered a smaller company? Like, let it be equivalent to combat those two. They're already doing good things with their Un-carrier moves and the things that they've done so far that's actually influenced other companies to kind of follow in suit. So I just want them to merge already and get this over with, and other states just stop trying to block it.
So here's the thing about the fourth carrier with Dish. That's a lot of people's concerns. That's a legit concern. But I know for a fact that in all likelihood, Dish is not long for the wireless game. But whoever gets in on Dish will be long for the ride. They will be there for a while. They're going to want to invest and they're going to want to get in. I don't care if it's Google. I don't care if it's Amazon. I don't care. Either way, they'll be better than Dish and they'll be better than Sprint.
Yep.
So that's why I'm okay with a different fourth carrier. Bro, Sprint had 86 million subscribers like 6 years ago. They're at 53 million.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, do you like seeing wounded animals just sit there and die?
No, you gotta treat it humanely.
And then the other thing is, like, if their assets went up on auction for sale, it'll be an all-out war between T-Mobile and Verizon.
Yeah.
And actually, if you believe what Verizon's CEO says, which I don't, he says they don't want it, they don't have any interest in midband. He's full of it. There's no way. Bro, there's a story I found. It's on Fierce Wireless, I think. Nameless executives from all four wireless carriers are pleading with the FCC to release more midband licenses.
You read that too?
I sure did, because that's the truth. And what is Sprint in terms of their assets? What are they? They're a bag of midband. And the bag is the size of, it's enormous. It's a huge supply of midband. Bro, T-Mobile's willing to take on $35 billion in debt to get this midband. And pay $26 billion for it. I mean, that goes to show you the value.
To deploy it.
Right. They're going to be paying tens of billions annually on that. And actually, T-Mobile can't do it alone. They're going to need Deutsche Telekom putting up probably 60 to 80% of that I don't know, Pete. What would you estimate T-Mobile could front?
Ooh.
T-Mobile can only do 6 to 8 billion a year.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do 15 to 20 billion annually, that's Deutsche Telekom covering up the other piece.
Yep. I could see Deutsche Telekom doing more than half of it. They're quite profitable in Europe in, I think it's now 3 different sectors. They do mobile, big data cloud computing, and fiber optic broadband. So they do have some money and they can throw some money around.
What do you guys think of T-Vision and home broadband from T-Mobile?
I'm actually interested in the T-Mobile home internet. Like after your live stream that I was in the chat on, I am hoping to get on that because if it's available for me at the price that they're asking for and what I actually use my internet for, it's a no-brainer for me to jump. I will definitely leave Cox Internet for T-Mobile for what they're offering at $50. Like that's already got me sold.
Me too. I'd leave Cox in a heartbeat. I'm not loyal to home internet providers. I don't care for them. They corner the market so they don't have competition. They dictate their pricing. They dictate their customer service experiences and performances. They charge whatever they want for home rentals, for equipment. They have no accountability. I mean, you don't even have to type anything other than a letter. Type the number 1 if you're happy with your home internet service provider. Type the number 1 if you are happy with your home internet service provider. Let's count how many ones there are. And by happy, I mean they treat you well. You're happy with the value you get, the performance, the quality, the value, everything. All together, you are happy, you are satisfied. Type the number 1. Don't type anything if you're not. Don't start typing anything else. Just, that's it. 1. Because there is 68 people in this live chat right now. And we'll count how many ones there are because something tells me it's going to be like less than 10% of them.
I'm not going to contribute because mine would be a 2 for my happiness.
Okay, so Pete's got municipal fiber, and that's what the world needs is municipal fiber.
Yep.
I have a problem with my home internet service provider because I don't think I'm getting the performance I should be for the price I'm paying.
You're definitely not.
I don't like the performance I'm getting. I don't like the customer care I'm getting. I don't like it when their stuff messes up and then they blame me when it was just working 5 minutes ago and I haven't done anything. And then they want to tell me 3 months after complaining, we're going to send out a technician and we're going to change the wire outside that's rotted. Well, thank you for coming out 3 months after. As you can see, I'm kind of amped up because I'm very frustrated.
Now, what I'm impressed by is they had a rotted wire, and if you had me by your house, we would have found it sooner.
Well, how about this, Pete? How about this? I'm home waiting for them. They come to the door, they look around, and they leave. And then I get a cancellation notice by email. Nobody was home. I'm like, seriously? I called him back. I said, I can see your truck on my street. He's driving away. I came to the door and he left.
Wow.
What is that, bro? And then they want to tell me, oh, we'll see if he can make it back.
What?
Like, what are you talking about?
Turn around. This is
what I'm
Guys
talking about.
Turn around, or he shouldn't get paid.
Like, this is no joke. Like, there are people that make money and earn their living off their internet connectivity. You get what I'm saying? Like, okay, so I always have a backup plan. I have mobile hotspots. I have, wireless plans and features, but not everybody has that. And
not everybody has
people, bro, there's people paying $100 a month for 50 megabits per second. You know, like this type of nonsense has been going on too dang long. Seriously, bro. There's people paying $130 a month for HughesNet, getting 15 megabits per second sometimes.
Somebody I work with does that. I sent him a link to the T-Mobile thing. He hasn't gotten back to me yet. Some people, man.
My two biggest things with my two biggest things with them is one, customer longevity is not appreciated. If it takes you having to actually leave them before they start offering you anything, that's sad. Like your time there is shown not to be of value to them, and that sucks. And then for mine, just to go beyond 1 terabit without having to pay $10 for extra gigs used after 1 terabyte, I have to pay $49.99 on top of what I'm paying already. Like that's the main reasons why when you mentioned the whole T-Mobile home internet and what you said on the last live stream, I'm like, it's a go for me. I'll save more money and I'll have to deal with less headaches and I won't have to threaten to leave or actually leave just to get a better deal.
Yeah. They're going to give you 50 megabits per second. Worst case scenario, they want to give you 50 megabits per second. They are saying they want to get people up to 100.
Yeah.
And they're not charging you for any rental equipment. They're not charging you taxes and fees. It is what it is. That is legit the only time anybody should use that saying. You know, it is what it is. It's like a cop out. It's lazy. No, that's when you use it. When you talk about T-Mobile pricing, it is what it is. Your bill is 50. It's 50, not 50 plus this, that, and the third. You know, you get what I'm saying? It's fair, and your bill doesn't change. There's just something about being fair that I think most customers would take, even if it means they're not getting a full gig per second.
Yeah.
Like, if the upload for me is the upload's all I need, bro. I could deal with 50 megabits per second. If I can get 10 megabits per second upload, I'm thrilled.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and that's why I want to make the jump because right now my current internet home provider, it just doesn't make sense that I'm paying what I'm paying for it, and then Visible pay way less.
What's your anybody streaming out there, Pete? I know you do like Netflix. I know you got T-Vision. You have not T-Vision, Layer 3 TV.
They're T-Vision.
Right. Well, they're the OG T-Vision. They're the real.
Yeah, I'm grandfathered.
Right? So you've got a few subscriptions, huh?
Oh yeah.
Where are you at, Tito? What are you using?
Netflix. I stream on Netflix, Hulu, Tubi TV, and some other stuff.
So TK, do you want to know why you're only getting 40 megabits per second in Chicago? Because their upload's not 5G. Only their download is 5G when you're connected to one of the 7 nodes in Chicago. So their upload is still LTE.
Yep.
I know it sounds messed up, right, TK? Like people are legit paying for 5G and they're not even getting full 5G to all of their connection. Like it's bad enough it's spotty. It's bad enough that it's limited in its availability. Now let's throw in LTE for upload. I'm serious. I'm not joking. That's real. They are giving you LTE uploads. So if you were going to go live and broadcast something, you'd just be using good old regular LTE.
Sounds about right. Wasn't it like that with Sprint with their uploads until recently with the 4G and 3G?
TK, can you do some testing, bro? Can you do some videos while you're out there in Chicago for us? Just do a live stream. I know you got a couple of devices on you. Get us some of that testing. Share with, some of your subscribers. I'd love to see that because apparently they've worked through some of the issues. I want to see if they have. I would love to see you do some of that, screenshots, videos. I'd love to see what they're doing. And actually, if you're losing 5G connectivity just by turning around, I'd love a good laugh. So, if you could share that, that would be great. Thanks, TK. Pete, how's the rain treating 5G these days?
It's not really impacting Sprints, but if you're on the fake 5G from T-Mobile and Verizon, you're SOL, man. You're SOL. Chuck's out of luck.
Yo, here's the one thing that I love about what TK does on his channel. Dude will dog anything that is like not up to snuff. Like if a company claims something and they don't do it, TK will say it. And he'll be brutally honest about it. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that's important because so I pay for everything that I review and I pay for everything I do. So that way I can roast them if I have to. You know, I think that's fair. You know, I'm not gonna have Verizon give me a free line and say, and then they're gonna tell me, hey, look, we're giving you this free line. Don't say anything crazy. Don't put us down. You know what I'm saying, Tito? Like I can't jive with that, bro.
Yeah, and that's like I don't know. On the YouTube side of things, let me just say that's like probably one of the things that's like really hard, and why people are looking for new content creators that are coming in is just for that reason right there. Like different companies, like you try out something, and then that whole approach, like oh yeah, you know these major things we already know about, so you don't have to mention it. Like why can't I mention it? You know?
Yeah. Pete, which carriers have I called out and dogged?
You have yet to dog. Which carrier was that? Orange in France.
Yeah, but I've dogged everybody.
All U.S. carriers you've dogged.
I dogged. And who's my favorite carrier? Who do I speak most glowingly about?
Sprint. T-Mobile. The new T-Mobile.
Have I dogged T-Mobile before?
Yeah, you dogged them when they started to roll out that fake 5G.
Yeah, so
you got the fast band that doesn't work when you move or if there's sunlight. Get the lower band. It actually gives you 5G.
I think it's important to just always be objective, always be fair, call it like it is. You can always, hang your hat on that. You've done the right thing. These companies want to send you stuff, give you stuff. Like bro, I get emails all the time now. Now that, I've got X amount of subscribers, bro, I hid my subscriber count for this reason in a way. I don't want people sending me stuff for free and then telling me how I need to write my review. Right? I have to pay for it. I have to use it as a consumer and relay that to my subscribers and my viewers. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yep.
I don't know. I think it's the responsibility of the creator to do that. Nobody's going to police it. I mean, look how many of these shills are on YouTube, bro. They're shills, bro. They're like literally, they're just extensions of the companies themselves. What's up, Walter Scott? Good to have you on. I could never have a sponsorship from a carrier. There's no way. It's not going to work, man. Like, Tito, what would you say to me if I told you I was being sponsored by T-Mobile?
That'll change the dynamics of how I view your channel.
See?
I would definitely think you're biased. And that's the reason why I subscribe to your channel, because you're not.
Which is why we need to get that Viking Range sponsorship. We love cooking.
I will gladly take and accept any sponsorship from anything other than a wireless service provider.
So let's say we take Viking Range. Hey, if Zing
That's
T
true.
wants
I don't
to
think I've dogged
sponsor
you
us, if Zing T wants to sponsor us, we could do that.
I'm about to test an MVNO of AT&T, I believe.
So I don't know your city, Sneed. Do you get AT&T 4G there?
Yes.
That's better than mine.
And actually we got a whole bunch of AT&T 5GE.
I said 4G. Why are you saying 5G? It's like we're speaking two languages here.
I have dogged T-Mobile a lot, Maverick. Come on, man.
So my T-Mobile phone, with your 5GE over there with the AT&T, my T-Mobile phone says 18GE.
Bro, Jamil says SMT sponsored by Smoke tonight.
Smoke?
Yeah, you don't want that smoke with the SMT, bruh. You ain't about that life, bruh. So that's everything I wanted to cover tonight. If there's anything you guys want to speak to or mention or go over, of course, we could stay on here longer if you guys like. I don't know what your time commitments are, but the goal is always to be on for an hour.
We've been about 2.
Yeah, we've never been able to keep things to an hour. I've never done it. I don't know how to do it.
So, I got 2 pieces of news. We did a giveaway. Was it last week?
Yeah, the gift card.
Wasn't a gift card. It was me PayPaling.
Just giving away free money.
Dude, you get a gift card, they get like 37 cents on there, and how does that work?
I don't know what to do with 37 cents, bruh.
Nobody does, and you can't like take it off the card. And 37 cents isn't worth, saying, hey, I got 37 cents with my Visa card. Could you charge it? Then you got like 15 people in line behind you after you have to take out another card. So I give Stacy Beverly, the winner of the giveaway, $30 over PayPal.
Nice.
The previous giveaway winner, I gave him the money over Google Pay. That way, they can use all the money.
Nice.
I was going to talk about on a podcast or something, a cybersecurity poster I wrote. That's getting delayed.
How long's the delay, man?
Maybe 2 months.
Ah, that sucks, bro. I'm sorry.
No. The poster's not delayed.
Talking production and stuff?
The paper publication came up. So I'd be doing a published paper rather than the poster. And
you ready for peer review, Pete?
Hey, the director and 3 of the department chairs read the start of my poster and they went like, huh. And they read everything on IoT. And I'm the first guy writing on this.
That must feel awesome, kind of being a trailblazer in a way.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I'm not even done with my bachelor's. This is for independent study credit to finish that.
Nice, man.
So, yeah, that's getting delayed, and I'll talk about a published paper either on a podcast or post a video to my channel. Then plug it.
Tito, is there anything you want to mention? Explain or
what we talked about earlier, so I want to bring this up for all the viewers here. The X helper. So from what I've gathered up from it and just kind of like researching into it, like what it's about, basically a Trojan that's basically attached to like an app that you may have sideloaded onto your phone. This thing, it continuously like brings pop-ups. Right now, it doesn't seem like it's like a super threat, but it can be. And the major thing that's being looked at with the X helper is the fact that it's nearly impossible to get off your Android smartphone.
Oh God.
So what they've done so far, they've tried factory resetting the device, does nothing. As soon as you boot your phone back on, you log into everything. For some odd reason, when you go into your apps in settings, you will find that little X helper name right there on that list. It reinstalled itself. And it seems like every antivirus that they try that actually successfully removes it, it adapts itself. So then it can no longer, that antivirus can no longer work. Like that's pretty much what most publications have been reporting so far. And people haven't actually found like a pretty solid way of getting rid of it. So I just wanted people to know, like, just be careful when you sideload apps now. It could contain that in there. And once that's on, it's on. And they did mention like some of the things that could be done with it. if it was to become like a high threat. So they still kind of count it as a high threat. And it's just headaches right now. I'm still looking for ways to see if there's any way to get rid of it.
So it's a death trap for a device.
Pretty much at this point, unless someone figures out a way how to beat it.
Wow. So sideloading apps right now, I would lay low.
Yeah.
I would not recommend anybody sideload anything until some kind of a security patch, some kind of a public statement comes out of, like Ars Technica or, Android
University of
Central.
Colorado
Right.
Boulder.
Yeah, there has to be something from an accredited researcher, tester, Google, right, with Android.
Yeah.
Something has to come specifically patching that. So, lay low on the side loading, get all your apps from the Google Play Store to reduce the likelihood of coming across this thing.
Yeah, about a day ago, it's like reported about 45,000 phones are affected so far. They haven't found like the culprit app that people are sideloading that's bringing it. So it could be various ones or just one app.
Have you heard anybody reporting it from torrenting or anything like that?
No.
All right.
I'll look more into that.
Because somebody was saying Showbox, so it's not affecting Showbox per se, unless you're going to download Showbox, then that becomes an issue there, potentially.
So I am interested in seeing if I can, when I'm done with this, maybe if it's not discovered in December, if I could find a way to get a couple Android phones loaded on and see if I can wipe it without resoldering chips.
Because that would be the last resort, is how do I salvage this device that's been infected with like a nightmare malware? It's malware, right?
Yeah, the be all end all way around that is desoldering the storage chip and possibly the firmware controller that does the fast boot, and then soldering on clean ones. At which point you may just want to get a new phone.
Yeah.
Jamaal, so sideloading is basically like when you go on Chrome and you download like the APK file of an app, and then you load it in that way, rather than going through the Play Store and getting it from that source.
Oh wait, that's sideloading? I thought that was third-party sources.
They call it sideloading.
The reason they call it sideloading, Pete, is because it's not being scanned and approved by Google on the Play Store.
To me, sideloading is when you load an app in ADB to extract proprietary software, or if you're lucky, photos.
So should we say just APK downloading?
Yeah.
That'd probably be a safer way to say it, so that way you understand.
Because sideloading to me is a really technical term.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is considered sideloading in that it's bypassing the Google Play Store, which is what you've agreed to use as downloading apps when you use Google.
Well, technically, the Amazon Protect is also considered straight loading.
So I guess it's going to be best if we just call it APK downloading.
Or third-party download.
Third-party download.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Third-party download, be aware of those. They could contain that X helper. Like, I've just been following it for like days just to find out. Like, I'm trying to see when someone figures a way to get this thing off, like a permanent solution, so that way I can share it quickly and get people up to date on that.
Yep.
Those things suck, and like, yeah, maybe it's not doing anything like super malicious right now, but the possibilities of what it can do.
Bro, think about what we're living in right now. Like, if you go to Target, somebody could walk by your wallet with a skimmer. You know what I'm saying? And just snatch up your card information.
Which is why I have an RF blocker in my wallet.
Yeah, and like there are people that are they're going into like gas station pumps and they're putting in skimmers inside of the credit card readers.
My department has a new professor in it who has something that you can insert in there to see if it's reading stuff. Or you know, if you want to be nefarious, read stuff yourself.
It's just a crazy world, man. We have to like protect ourselves every turn, every which way. You got to cross your T's, you got to dot your I's. I've tried to minimize my risk, and it's been a process. It's been 2 years in the making, trying to find where my data is, remove it, eliminate it, try to be safe, change online buying habits, looking for companies that I know are not a breach of security, are secure on all sides, full encryption, and none of it's 100%. You're still operating with risk. And I think about like Dave B's Tech and how he kind of approaches his online life and how his is so careful, like I totally get it. I know why he cares. And it's dangerous because stealing identities and money and finances and these scam artists, like their sole purpose in life and their job is to steal, right? Is to hack and steal. And instead of them getting a regular job, they want to be online thieves, and digital thieves.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, there's an update to it that's actually saying now. Was it Sigmatech put a note to it when the X Helper gets installed on your phone? Apparently, it for some I don't know how, but a second app is actually installed as a system app, that's what they're finding. That's what keeps reinstalling it even after you wipe.
Oh, yeah, that can get rid of with ADB.
There we go. Well, it looks like we're on a good footing to getting that resolved.
Well, that's good news.
That is my brother, Troy. I do not live alone. Ahoy, John. People found you.
John's a good dude. I met John.
Great dude.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Good family, man. Good people.
Hey, that's why I keep them around.
So what else? Anything else, guys? Anything for the good of the order? Anything you want to mention up and coming going on in the in your world?
Probably slowdowns because of holidays.
So you'll be a little busy.
Well, yeah, that's why I did that whole scheduling thing where it's like Mondays and Fridays.
Yeah.
Usually I just upload whenever I want, but Mondays and Fridays for sure now, just because of holidays, I'll be like more busier than ever.
So, Carlos S. pointed out that the chip reader in the card makes it easier for criminals to steal your card info. I think part of the issue with people stealing your card info is my Chase cards all have $10,000 fraud liability, and I have 2 weeks to report suspicious charges, and they'll cancel them and send me a new card. We have software workarounds for credit card theft that involves the bank saying, well, we want to keep you as a customer, so we'll forgive that. What we need is actual solutions, not petty workarounds.
All right. Mind if I close things out and do the thank yous?
Go for it.
Go for it.
All right. First and foremost, I want to thank Tito from Aloha Android for being here this evening. Good to have you on. I was glad you were able to make it on tonight. Join us on this discourse, this conversation, and it was a lot of fun, and it was a pleasure having you on, sir.
I appreciate being on here. Dayquil was a good friend to me today.
Pete, as always, thank you for being here, man. You're an awesome contributor here to the channel, a good friend, and a big part of the podcast, especially the Sundays.
I try to be a good friend if I consider you a friend.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Thank you. And then I think I'll thank all of my moderators. Big shout out to the mod squad. Rafi, always here with the big wrench. I saw John earlier. I saw Greg earlier. Pete, you still moderate even when you're here in the podcast, which is awesome. Jamaal.
Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
I mean, you're a busy guy when you're doing that, bro. You going, double duty. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy to do that. So it's impressive. So big shout out to all the contributors in the mod squad. Also, thank you to all that provided super chats. Carlos, another one. Thank you, man. Another one. Thank you for the super chat, man. Much appreciated. My students tell me I look like DJ Khaled, so I appreciate you. You know, thank you, Carlos. Thanks to all actually who, I don't care if you donate $1 or if you donate $10 or whatever, just the gesture I think is meaningful in and of itself. It means, you know, you're willing to contribute to, you know, my channel, my efforts, your appreciation for what I'm doing, you know, trying to bring on more guests, trying to bring on more personalities, perspectives, making good quality videos, keeping you updated. And the interaction, of course, I enjoy it very much. And you guys are the best community. I couldn't ask for a better subscriber set. The viewers, those that comment in the videos, thank you guys. Those that provided PayPal donations, Lawrence, I know you did one. Thank you for that. TK, thanks for stopping by. I know you're busy. You've been doing a lot of traveling and stuff. It was fun, you know, spending some time and hanging out with you and your people. It was a blast, man. Thanks for stopping by the bakery and you know, coming here this evening.
Assad Bakery, best shawarma in Cleveland.
Yeah, big shout out to Assad's.
If you stay around, ask for the goat. If not, buy the beef.
Yeah, it's just not as popular, man. It's hard to do the goat thing.
Hey, that part of the world, man. That part of the world.
And actually, while I'm here, and I got TK in the house, TK's got a live stream. I think he's going on live at like 10 o'clock. So in about 5 minutes. So I'll be over there. I'll be in the live chat hanging out. I think I do have I have a wrench in his live chat. So I'll be moderating over there. Big shout out to Ricky Florida Keys. Thanks, man. Always helping and guiding people in the live chat. Big shout out to Matt Dubb, Mills Lane. You guys pretty much rode with us the whole way. Tom, Maverick, Michael, Troy, all you guys in there. Sebi. Big shout out to the Discord server. Big shout out to the patrons over on Patreon. I think I got to everybody.
Hope you did. There's a lot of people.
That's right. Oh, yeah. I got a hammer, bro. Show you right. Sledgehammers. I think that's it. Shall we? Shall we sign off?
Yeah.
All
right. On behalf of Pete, on behalf of Tito, on behalf of the SMT Nation, all contributors, mods, all the alike, this has been the SMT Podcast. I am the SMT, and we will see you guys on the next one. Peace. Tito, say peace.
Peace.
All right.
Gotta nudge him a little.